Welcome. This is the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners Zoom meeting for Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. I am your chair, Sean Flowerday. With me is Vice Chair and Commissioner Rick Vest, Commissioner Roma Amundsen, Commissioner Deb Shore, and Commissioner Krista Yoakum. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, please begin.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners budget meeting held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through June 9, 2020. And this needs to include an amendment for payroll ending June 3rd.
I will move approval of the claims with the amendment to include payroll dated June 3rd.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 3 is consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there is an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of a grant contract with Cause Collective for the Case Management Training Program in the amount of $15,525. Grant contract with Rabble Mill for the All Access Pass Program in the amount of $45,000. Utility permit number 1989, allowing Windstream to replace fiber optic copper cable in the east right-of-way at South 176th Street, located 1/2 mile north of Roca Road, due to removal and replacement of county culvert R291. There is no cost to the county. Amendments to the following county contracts: C-18-252 with WellPath for medical care services for Youth Services Center. C-16-438 with Transit Works for the County Engineers HPR TK Network subscription. C-20-58 with Caliber Press to conduct conditional use of force training being hosted by the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office on December 2nd, 2020 instead of July 1st, 2020. Right-of-way contracts with Caston Properties LLC, North 190th Street and Rock Creek Road in a total amount of $2,756, and this is for 2 contracts. Received and placed on file the following reports for May 2020. Lancaster County Clerk for this report assessor register of deeds, records and information management. Setting a public hearing on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020 on the intent to use CDBG Economic Development Program income.
I will move approval of the consent items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Hey, one
None.
question, and I guess if we want to talk about any of these individually, we have to make a motion and move them off the consent items. Is that
You do,
correct?
right.
Okay.
Is there a motion to move anything off the consent agenda?
I guess not.
Okay,
Not at this time. There's one that concerns me here, and I guess I need to either be quiet or make a motion, don't I? So
I mean,
that's
it's
my
fine if you-
choices.
That's your
Like-
choice.
like I got nowhere to be. It's fine if you want to pull it off. That is procedurally what we have to do, yes.
Well, I'm going to choose to be quiet at this time.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 4. This is a public hearing increasing appropriations for the Bridge and Special Road Fund.
All right, good morning. Dan, you probably need to swear me in, so
I
I
do.
have my right hand raised.
I think I
Okay.
have to officially open the public hearing, so I will go ahead and do so now. To open the public hearing for the increasing appropriations for the Bridge and Special Road Fund.
Okay, Dennis, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. All right, so today, and Pam has joined us, today is the day that we are going to amend Fund 21, which is our
Can I
bridge
interrupt?
fund.
If
Yeah.
Pam's going to speak, I should swear her in.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, so a couple things that's happening with the amending of the budget today on how we get there. The spending authority is going to be increased by $3,380,585. Now, with that in mind, how are we getting to that point? Couple things. We've had some additional revenue that has come in that was not budgeted for, as well as moving about 1.6 million out of our cash reserve into our expenditures to spend it. So our cash reserve will drop to about 660,000. We'll drop the other amount into spending of it. So with the additional revenue coming in, it allowed for Pam to push that along with the reserve money to specific projects. So, it's kind of a combination of revenues and cash reserve. And then I'll let Pam kind of talk about what projects she's talking about with this 3.3 million.
Okay, so if you can just give me a second to share my screen. There we go. Are we good?
Yes.
What I have put in front of the commissioners is a map of our scour critical bridges, which also shows scour critical and scour susceptible bridges that are closed. So with the receiving of this money, which was largely FHWA emergency response money and FEMA payments from 2015 and 2019, what I'd really like to do is circle back and go ahead and replace these structures that we currently have closed. And so as you look at the screen, hopefully my mouse shows up, we would like to add a Y181, which is located in the south part of the county, R248 and R210. And then we'd like to reach up north and add M164. M164 is the bridge to box culvert structure that, given the pricing, we may not be able to award even with additional funding, because these boxes have been coming in a little over budget with the shortage of materials and contractors in the area. So we're hoping that we can get all 4 of those structures rebuilt. And then in addition, the money that I wish to take out of the bridge sinking fund, I would like to replace F-178, F-82, and F-86 with. They are all on North 14th Street, which is a paved road that does have a high volume of traffic, and it's a very important thoroughfare to Lancaster County. And lastly, and I'll use this map just so I don't have to switch back and forth between maps. But if we go to the south end of the county, we have South 82nd Street. So the 1 mile south of Saltillo, approximately 2/3 of a mile south of Saltillo, will be paved by the South Beltway. And in order to meet pavement with pavement, South 82nd Street, the little over 2 miles from Bennett Road to Roca Road, we'd like to go ahead and get the paving in now that the South Beltway is actually under control or under construction. We're hoping to finish that probably in the next, 4 to 6 weeks here. And that will just really help our residents on the south side of the county have one more way around the South Beltway construction. So we're excited to give them that opportunity. I have heard people say that their commute is in some of this construction is as long as 45 minutes. And so we're obviously, as more people start commuting, they're gonna feel the pinch of all the detours. Are there any questions?
When do you anticipate these being all done?
That's a good question, Commissioner Amundson. We have actually started on South 82nd Street. We are doing the grading for the pavement as we speak. So that's why we hope that we can be done fairly quickly sometime this summer with that. If we're to go down and look at R210, R248, and Y181, they have not bid yet. And so in order to get a price that may be more economically feasible on those 3 projects, we did say the contractor could construct them through the winter if if weather conditions allowed. You may or may not be aware that we actually did construct 3 box culvert or bridge to box culvert projects last winter. I don't know if I can get lucky every winter like that, but I'm hoping to get lucky again this winter. The longer fuse we give the contractors to finish these projects, especially as they're around the South Beltway area, I believe the better price we will get so that the contractors can use them as infill work. And of course, what it's really about is all about trying to stretch our dollars as far as we can. And so the 4 box culvert projects, Y181, R248, and R210, and then of course as we go up north, M164 have been bid with a longer fuse and hope that I can get a more competitive price. We do think right now we are being held up by Windstream and their utility relocation in the North 14th Street corridor, as well as we have a core permit that we're waiting for a final approval on for diversion of the channels. We do expect to get those in the next 5 to 10 days. And when we do, we will go ahead and start on the first box culvert on North 14th Street. And so we're hoping to have those projects all done by the end of the year too.
Super. That's great.
It's exciting times.
Yeah, it is. Good work, Pam.
Thank you.
Pam, were you able to connect with Windstream to provide them with a list of the places that were being delayed?
We have had connections with Windstream, Commissioner Shore. We have not connected with with the person that you spoke to at this time. I just needed to gather a little more information. This last year, sadly, we have experienced a large number of wind stream delays and communication issues that have been very problematic to really almost all of our structure projects. So we'll continue to work with Windstream on that, and hopefully we can come to some sort of resolution.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and stop the sharing of my screen. If there's any other information that you guys want, I guess you can let me know.
Is there anyone else present to testify in the public hearing? I can't see the room, so I don't know if anyone's there. Doesn't look like anyone's present, am I right?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else on this before I close the public hearing? Okay, I'm going to then close the public hearing for the increasing appropriations to the Bridge and Special Road Fund, and we'll move down to the correlating item.
Next is new business 5A is a resolution in the matter of supplementing appropriations for the previously adopted budget for the Bridge and Special Road Fund in a amount of $3,380,585.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. B is an agreement with Larry England for the care and maintenance of Poor Farm Cemetery. There is no cost to the county.
Good morning. Brent Meyer with Lancaster County Weed Department. So I spoke briefly about this before. Mr. England has volunteered to mow the county Poor Farm Cemetery as needed a couple times a year. This is one of the 6 cemeteries we maintain throughout the county that are designated as abandoned. And he's offered to do that at no cost to the county. Just a way he lives adjacent to that or right next door to it. And, you know, it's just a way to kind of keep the overgrown shrubbery vegetation down on that cemetery. So if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd, sure ask for your approval on this resolution agreement.
Brent, it looks like there's some really ugly weeds right behind you.
Do you like that screen? That's better than looking at my office, isn't it?
Only the smart people can pull that off.
I don't know. I slopped into it somehow. So
I will move approval of the
Second.
agreement with Larry England.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Christie, you're muted.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5C is a promotion of Matthew Myrwell from Attorney 1 to Attorney 2 at an annual salary of $90,101.44, effective June 4th, 2020.
Yeah, it's Matthew Meyerly, and I just want to jump in here and disclose he's an old friend of mine. We're very close, and I've known him for years. So just want to put that out there and disclose that just so that everybody's aware.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. D is a recommendation from the Personnel Policy Board to create the following classifications: Real Property Appraiser 2 and Appraisal Operations Manager.
Anyone here to speak on it, or? Oh, there we go.
Human Resources here to speak on these positions that are reorganization in the County Assessor's Office. Our office, Nicole Gross, has been working with Rob Ogden and his staff, and this is somewhat of a reorganization that they're doing at this point in time.
Great.
I will move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
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 Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes. Dan, I think
Motion.
your mic's breaking out a little bit. You're cutting in and out, so you might have to just say things twice sometimes.
Motion carried 5-0. Just let me know. So
Yep, will do.
I'm going to set a little closer here. So recommendation from the Personnel Policy Board to revise and change the title of the following classifications: Appraiser Apprentice to Real Property Appraiser 1, and Senior Residential Property Appraiser to Real Property Appraiser 3.
Just before we do that, I guess this is a question that I had, Doug. These are just basically title changes. Is there any difference in the salaries?
The ones you're acting on right now are title changes. There is a change in the salary on the preceding one that was
Yeah.
just approved, you know.
You're
So,
right, I know that. I'm just talking about the two right here.
yeah, those are title changes.
Okay.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is a recommendation from the Personnel Policy Board to amend the following: Rule 18.1 of the Personnel Rules, compensation for absence on holidays. Rule 19-10 of the Personnel Rules, absence without leave. Election of Personnel Policy Board members by classified employees, Human Resources Policy Bulletin.
Again, Doug McDaniel, Human Resources. The first policy, 18.1 of the Personnel Rules, compensation for absence on holidays. This is somewhat cleanup in nature. We've been working on this for a bit in terms of how our part-time employees have prorated holidays. And again, mostly cleanup. We've worked with all our 24-hour organizations to make sure the language was appropriate. So we've clarified that with all, and so I think everybody's in accord. It does not extend the benefit in any way. It just clarifies it and cleans it up a bit. The
Very
other,
good.
19.10, absence without leave. Again, this also is a clarification policy. Previously, when an employee, oh, I'm sorry, the wrong one. Yeah, absence without leave. When an employee would actually leave their employment and what we would call a abandonment, a no-call, no-show for 3 days, they were actually registered as having resigned their position. And that gave us a little bit of a pause as we were looking at that, because under our rules, a resignation means they're paid out on certain benefits versus a termination. So we sought to clarify this issue of people who actually abandon their positions would not be eligible for payout of certain benefits There are some union contracts that would have to be changed, but this deals with those covered under the rules as the unrepresented, and a few that do not have this language in their contract. So again, it's only for those people that would actually abandon their job. They would not be paid out things like personal convenience holidays, sick leave, or things such as that. Okay. The last policy is election of personnel policy board members. Clean up in that area. Again, we needed to merely clean up previous references to AFSCME, replacing with IBEW.
Okay, I move approval to amend the rules as recommended as recommended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes,
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
very good.
G is creation of disabilities and accommodations in employment human resources policy bulletin.
Again, Doug McDaniel, Human Resources. This is a new human resource policy bulletin. As the clerk read, it's disabilities and accommodations in employment. While we've been in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act for a year since its inception, we've not really had policy guidance on how employees should go about the process of requesting an accommodation should they have a qualifying disability that needs such an accommodation. So this is the policy that sets out how employees would go about requesting such an accommodation, and then how the county would respond in kind to that request. So it's a new policy. It's been vetted by the county attorneys. We wrote it co-authored together, and then the Personnel Policy Board has reviewed as well and given some input. We've made those adjustments as well.
I will move approval.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
yes,
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Hey, Doug, I'm going to be I'm just going to be calling you about MSOA as soon as we're done here.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Yep.
5H is the Nebraska Crime Commission amended grant award for community aid grant funding for the period of June 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 in the amount of $1,049,129.30.
Good morning, Sarah Hoyle, Lincoln, Lancaster Human Services. This is an amendment to our community-based aid grant dollars that we receive. The reason for the amendment is we had several nonprofit entities who were able to take advantage of the PPP loan program. So they were able to get some of their operating and personnel costs covered into the next grant cycle. So this amendment just allows them to draw down grant funding into the next fiscal year.
move
I'll
approval.
move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes,
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
I is an agreement with PharMerica for pharmacy services at the Mental Health Crisis Center. Term of the agreement is for 3 months from the date of execution. The cost of the county is $8,700.
This is
Oop.
Jen Holloway. I just want to let you know we actually need to pull this agreement from the agenda. They came back and have a problem with our insurance requirements, so we're working through that. So we will get this back to you once that is figured out.
Well, pull it. Get off there.
See
Great.
ya.
5J are contracts with the following to provide annual supply 2020 Lancaster County culvert pipe. This was with Contact Engineered Solutions LLC and Metal Culverts Inc.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. Sometimes in government, we seem to have a little bit of calculus that we have to go through in order to get things done. This is one of those things, this is our on-call pipe list. So what has happened in the past is when we have random pipe failures around the county, we need 2 or 3 pipes. The amount is over the threshold in which we need to go out for bid. This is just making sure that we have the correct process, but also making sure that we have these unit price contracts set up so that we're ready to go, order these pipes and have them fabricated when we need them. And so we're hoping that this can reduce our overall wait time on emergency pipe replacements out in the county. And so I do think it will make a big difference, and I appreciate Bob Waller working with us on this.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Best,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. K are agreements with the following individuals to provide referee services to hear evaluation protests for the 2020 tax year and to transmit to the Lancaster County Board of Equalization all papers relating to such protests together with written findings and recommendations. This includes Robert Anderson, Joel Walker, Brent Hollingsworth, Mark Rosno, Marilyn Tabor, Donald Colleen, and Greg Heinzman.
I will move approval of the agreements.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 6 is an update on COVID-19 and Lancaster County response.
Does anyone have any news on COVID-19 or anything we should be discussing? I don't have anything at the moment. Okay, let's go ahead and move down to item number 7.
Number 7 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Do we have anyone present in the chamber? It doesn't look like it from my view. Jamie, can you see?
Yeah, there's nobody.
Thank you very much. With no members of the public present, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move down to announcements.
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold budget hearings on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 at 10 a.m. or immediately following the Commissioners meeting via Zoom. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting, including department budget hearings on Thursday, June 11th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020 at 9 a.m. with the Board of Equalization immediately following in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold budget hearings on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020 at 10 a.m. or immediately following the Board of Equalization meeting held in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commission@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV and can be viewed on YouTube.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
we are adjourned. We will now go
Sean
ahead.
and Deb, I just want to remind you, there's a document down here, a resolution appreciating Sarah Peets for the DEC that
needs your signatures. It's on the counter above Danielle's.
Sounds good. I'm going to be spending the whole afternoon down there because I got PBC and then I got Board of Health and I've got meetings in between too. So I'll be down.
I'll get down there later this week.
I've got PBC this afternoon.
I guess we were scheduled for the budget hearing at 10 a.m. So I guess I'll take a 20-minute break and then we'll come back then, right?
Yes.
That works for
Sounds
everybody?
good.
Okay.
Yep, that's fine.
See you all in 20.